The afternoon sun beat down on the asphalt, turning the already sluggish traffic into a simmering pot of frustration. Deborah, a woman whose meticulously organized planner was her Bible, found herself trapped. Her meticulously planned trip to the artisanal cheese shop was already 10 minutes behind schedule. Each honk, each brake light, chipped away at her carefully constructed serenity. It wasn't just the delay, it was the inconsideration of other drivers. The blatant disregard for the unspoken rules of the road that Deborah lived and breathed. She tightened her grip on the steering wheel, her knuckles white, a storm brewing within her perfectly coiffed hair. Today, the unwritten laws would be enforced, and enforced with the righteous fury only a wronged Karen could muster. A beat-up pickup truck, driven by a man with a sun-weathered face and a toothpick in his mouth, cut her off. The infraction was minor, a near miss, but to Deborah, it felt like a personal attack, a deliberate attempt to derail her carefully planned day. The years of suppressed rage, the countless small indignities, all culminated in this moment. The cheese, the delay, the audacity of this vehicle, it was all too much. Deborah's carefully constructed composure cracked, revealing the simmering volcano beneath. This wasn't just about the cheese anymore. This was about principle. The chase was on. Deborah, a warrior in her minivan, pursued the oblivious pickup truck, her horn a relentless war cry echoing through the streets. She wasn't merely driving. She was enacting a righteous crusade against the chaotic forces of incompetent drivers. Every near collision, every abrupt stop, fueled her righteous anger. The other drivers, witnesses to this unfolding drama, watched in a mixture of fear and morbid fascination. She was a force of nature, a tempest in a minivan, and nobody was safe. The red light provided the perfect opportunity. Deborah's minivan, a metallic beast, pulled up aggressively alongside the truck, its bumper practically kissing the other vehicles. Her face, a mask of furious indignation, was inches from the bewildered driver. The years of pent-up frustration, the daily microaggressions of indifferent drivers, all found their outlet in this face-off. This wasn't just about road rage, this was about justice. Deborah unleashed a torrent of perfectly articulated grievances, detailing every perceived slight and infraction committed against her since the dawn of time. Her voice, sharp and piercing, cut through the humid air. The toothpick driver, initially bewildered, slowly began to shrink under the intensity of her wrath. He stammered apologies, his initial nonchalance replaced by a deep-seated fear of this furious woman. The onlookers, initially amused, now watched with a mixture of fear and fascination. The other drivers, witnessing the intensity of the confrontation, wisely chose to maintain a safe distance. They'd seen enough. They knew this wasn't a simple disagreement. This was a clash of titans, a battle between the forces of order and chaos, and Deborah, in her minivan, was clearly the force of order, ready to impose her rules. The light turned green, but Deborah didn't move. The argument continued, a verbal sparring match fueled by years of pent-up frustration and road rage. The other drivers, now completely avoiding the vicinity, felt the collective anxiety rising as the confrontation reached a fever pitch. It wasn't simply about driving etiquette. It was a war for the sanctity of orderly driving and an orderly life. The pickup truck driver, utterly defeated, mumbled apologies in a low voice. Finally, defeated and thoroughly humbled, the pickup truck driver yielded. He crept away, leaving Deborah victorious in the battle of wills. The light finally turned green, but for Deborah, the victory was enough reward. The cheese could wait. This was a far greater achievement. Deborah drove on, her rage slightly subsided, replaced by a sense of satisfaction. She had brought order to chaos, she had enforced her brand of justice. The afternoon sun, once an adversary, now felt like a gentle caress as she continued her journey, leaving a trail of humbled drivers in her wake. The artisanal cheese shop was still waiting, but today, Deborah's victory was far more rewarding. As Deborah stepped into the artisanal cheese shop, the aroma of aged cheddar and brie enveloped her, instantly calming her nerves. The chaos of the road was a distant memory, replaced by the tranquility of her carefully curated life. The cheese, after all, would taste even sweeter after such a triumphant battle. The day's events served as a reminder. The unwritten rules of the road, and of life itself, must be strictly adhered to. And Deborah was more than willing to enforce them.